Hey, Facebook people. It's Ben. Normally I make, when my videos, they have religious themes because I belong to a holy order, but today I thought I'd do something a little different. Maybe try to entice some of my Facebook friends who aren't visiting my pages. If you find me really boring and uninteresting on Facebook and don't think that I say very much, it's because all of that goes on in 2 pages, Order of St. Joseph. And you don't have to be super religious necessarily to be interested in the conversation. We talk about Saint Germain, violet flame activity, world politics to an extent, New Age theology, all the mystical paths of the 8 major world religions, white magic. There are all sorts of different kinds of conversations going on over there. So I encourage you, even if you're not necessarily very religious, if you're just interested in different conversation, a different kind of conversation, to join me there. And also the other one that is actually cooler, because not cooler, it's less traditionally oriented towards supporting Guru Ma. Guru Ma is Elizabeth Clare Prophet, and she's my guru. So Order of St. Joseph tends to focus on her teaching, and we certainly do overlap, Elizabeth Clare Prophet and I. But Ascended Master Paul the Venetian has the recordings that I make about fallen angels and about the recordings that are responsive to Elizabeth Clare Prophet. In any event, but I wanted to talk to you a little bit today about something fun. Subliminal advertising, right? Let me repeat myself. Subliminal advertising. And I was looking on the web the other day, and I had heard this in college, that marketers spent all this time developing these various schemes by which to get people to look at television advertisements and magazine advertisements. And you might have heard of it as well. They say that, well, you can see the word sex written in like the fields behind the Marlboro Man, or if you're reading a magazine, there'll be demonic representations, demonic faces, and so forth in the ice cubes and the gin that they're advertising, or whatever else is going on. And I thought it was kind of hooey. And then I took another look at it on the internet the other day, and you should get on the internet and look at it, because some of it, you really can't mistake it for anything other than subliminal advertising. There are two come in mind. Burger King come to mind. Burger King had an ad where they showed a picture of a whatever McChicken or whatever the thing was sandwich, and done up as they normally do them up. But if you look at the lettuce really closely, and you can see it with your naked eye, they put a tiny green dollar bill, and it has nothing to do with the overt advertising scheme at all, because it's a very small green dollar bill that they put in a piece of the lettuce, and it's supposed to make you look twice. And then there are a bunch of ads out there that, if you turn them upside down, you can see actual demons, or you can see, and I thought, people are making this up, but there are some really good examples on the internet. So you kind of have to look at those, and if you just do a Google search for it, you can see where all these different people put together these compilations, and there are some well-known ones, and you buy into it more once you start understanding. When you accept that it's going on, you can see where marketers would probably do what it is that they're being accused of doing if it made the company money. In any event, so I found a couple examples in the store, and I wanted to show you what they are. And interestingly, they're both boxes of tea. Okay, and these are, and again, you have to really watch what the existing theory says about subliminal advertising to understand that I'm not just blowing smoke or whatever. Okay, and again, remember that you're supposed to look twice at things. Okay, when you go through this. So I have 2 boxes of tea. One is Bigelow, and one is Twinings. I believe it's pronounced Twinings, right? And here's the Bigelow tea. Okay, that's the back of it, and it's chai tea. Let me see, spiced chai tea. Okay, so it's good, and I like chai. Bigelow spiced chai. So you see that, and I'll show you their subliminal encoding. Some of the guys would say, for instance, when you're reading that the subliminal ad people, that it says sex, and this cup of tea. You see this S up here? Right up here. It's supposed to make you look, and then they're kind of like crossed, and they would say, well, there's an E right under the X that looks kind of like, I don't know, a lowercase e, if you can see that. And they're never obvious except for like Skittles. Skittles did Skittles Explosion, and when they did the Skittles, they put an extra Skittle. You know how the Skittle has an S on it? Well, they put an extra S in front of Explosion, Skittles Explosion, so it said Skittles Sexplosion. And the other one, but I wanted to show you on this particular box what else they did, which is, you know, how, and references to drugs, obviously, you know, sex, drugs, demons, things that are supposed to make you look. Okay, so blow, so reference to cocaine. That's how they arranged their Bigelow. It's unlikely that they didn't know what they were doing when they did that. In my view, I don't see how anybody could come up with that unintentionally. So that's one example of it, and I was trying to think there's another example that I was going to come up with to try to put it into context for you, the ones that are mentioned in the compilations, but I didn't. And this one is cool as well, and this is like what they would mention in the compilation, what they're talking about with Twining's tea. Okay, so I bought a box of tea, boring box of tea. It's just Earl Grey tea, and what can be less interesting than the Queen's tea? And you think, well, the Queen isn't going to do anything bizarre with marketing because she's the Queen and all of this. So I thought there's no way in the universe that I'm ever going to find anything to do with subliminal advertising on Twinings, right? Okay, so box of tea, uninteresting, not really interesting, more branding. You know, you can take a look at some of the words maybe. I'm not really sure if you can see. Well, you can't really see it, but it doesn't say anything interesting necessarily. However, on the front of the box, check this out. And you know something? I remember doing this when I bought it. I remember my mind catching on this and thinking, okay, I'm going to buy this, even though it's a boring box of tea. Look what they did. It looks like cigarette advertising. Isn't that wild? I thought that was so wild when I saw that. We don't really advertise or ever talk about flavor strengths of tea. And so they're using these little leaves that look like tobacco leaves and saying that this is the light flavor strength. It looks like something you'd say about cigarettes. Can you see that? There you go. And I saw it, and that's one of the reasons why I bought it. Isn't that hilarious? Okay, I thought that was hilarious and a really good example. And you know, on the back of Bigelow, unlock the freshness. You know, so. But that really, I think that's pretty hilarious and an obvious reference to cocaine myself. In any event, I thought I would share those, and I don't know, maybe I'm coming out of left field, but I don't think so. And I'll tell you that I remember, you know, and if you look at that box in any event, the Twinings box in particular, it's a boring old box. I mean, it looks like just boring old, you know, tea that's been kicking around in someone's cabinet for 25 years. And light flavor strength really does make it more appealing because it makes it look like a box of cigarettes. In any event, so come to Order of St. Joseph and Ascended Master Paul the Venetian and like my page. And yeah, and I'm still looking for a way to move out of Maine. So if anyone has any creative suggestions, definitely call me up. They have all my money because I started suing all these abusive tyrants, and they started retaliating against me. So they took away my driver's license and all of this other stuff as well. So I'm being threatened by the cops and things, and I'm a law-abiding citizen. This is the world that we live in. You can also read my lawsuit if anyone's interested in that. Scribd.com. Turner Blackhouse. My last name is hyphenated. Well, I hope to talk to you guys later. And yeah, like my religious pages, my spirituality pages, even if you're not religious. All right. Okay. Talk to you later. Bye.